This is a 2014 Ford Escape with a 1.6 liter turbo EcoBoost engine. This car is having a weird electrical problem. Let me see if I can describe the symptoms. What's happening is if the car is left to stand for a couple of days and you get in, turn the key in the ignition, you get a message right up here on the screen of the cluster. Engine fault, service now. And when you turn the key to start, absolutely nothing happens. If I check the codes when this happens, I get about 1 million stored codes. They cover just about every system in the car. And it's unlikely that these all went bad all at once. When I check the battery voltage when this is going on, and I check it between the positive battery terminal and this ground point right here, what I get, right now I have good battery voltage, 12.6 fully charged battery, but when the issue is occurring, the battery voltage is down to 12.4. And when I saw this the first time, I suspected that maybe the battery was bad, so I replaced the battery. But even with a brand new battery that I've installed, the battery voltage still drops over time. It gets down to 12.4 volts, and then I get the message on the dash and the car won't start. If I put the battery on a charger and get it back up to 12.6 volts, and I charge the battery just between these two terminals, same where I check the voltages, I can get it back up to 12.6 volts, and then I can clear the codes and the car will start. With the engine running, this voltmeter on the battery terminals is giving me 14.5 volts, which means that the alternator seems to be working to charge the battery. But there are two codes that cannot be cleared. The codes that cannot be cleared even with a full battery are these codes for the rear camera and the body control module. And I'm getting these codes even though the little camera seems to be working. So this camera is working even though I have a code for lost communication with the rear camera. So I suspect that the issue has something to do with the backup camera that is back here built into the tailgate. But before I start disassembling everything, which means I have to remove this panel here and get in behind to access the camera, I'm going to first just pull the fuse for the backup camera and see if that resolves the problem. Then if that does resolve the problem, then I will look at replacing the backup camera. This car does have a fuse box back here in the rear, and I suspect that one of the fuses in here has something to do with the backup camera. However, if I look for any kind of labeling on this cover, it's completely useless. Thank you, Ford. Fortunately, it's pretty easy to find this fuse box diagram online, and the fuse that is marked as backup camera is F29, which is here in the corner. And interestingly, these clowns, they display the fuse box diagram upside down compared to the actual fuse box. You have to turn it upside down in order to get the correct position of the fuse. Thank you, Ford. It's a day later after I removed the fuse for the backup camera. I'm going to put the key in the ignition and see what happens. Okay, there's no error here. The car starts right up. And as expected, the camera is not available now. I'm going to try this again tomorrow. Another day has gone by. I'm going to get in the car and see if I can start it. Oh, the excitement, the suspense. Let's see what happens. So now it's 2 days later. So far so good. Okay, and it starts. So we're seem to be doing better. I'm going to give it one more day. It's now the third day after I've removed the the rear view camera fuse. So let's see how we do when I attempt to start the car. Turn the key. Everything looks good. It starts right up, no problem. This 3 days in a row. Could never make it this far before removing the fuse for the rear view camera. Okay, so let's sum things up. It turned out that in this case, the engine fault service now was being caused by the battery voltage dropping. And I have to say that 12.4 volts does not seem like an excessively low voltage for a battery. However, with this particular vehicle, it seems that the ECU expects a battery voltage above 12.4 volts, or it will just simply go crazy. And we saw that it threw all kinds of codes on all kinds of components just because the battery level was marginally low at 12.4 volts. So that's the first thing. The second thing is just on a pure hunch, I decided to check out the backup camera, and I removed the fuse from the backup camera, interrupted its circuit, and that took care of the parasitic load on the battery. So after disconnecting the backup camera circuit, there was no more dropping the battery voltage, and the car started every time without any error message, aside from the error message for the battery not available. I mean, not the battery, but the reverse camera not available. So that leaves open the question, what will I do about the reverse camera? Well, frankly, the size of the reverse camera screen on this car is so small as to be completely useless. You cannot see anything on it, and in daylight there's low contrast in the screen, and it's even more impossible to see anything. So I don't know if it's worth the effort of replacing the backup camera or just leaving it as is. And maybe I'll leave that for another video. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in below down in the description.